Hello everyone, it's Birdie here, the Recycled Hippie Chick. Good morning. I think it's about 7:30 here in Kansas land. And I have to clean a house today, and you know how that goes. I burn daylight. I actually don't have to be there till about 10, so I always feel like I'm being deprived if I don't get to play before I go. Okay, I got some happy mail. I've got so many stories to tell you that it'll probably take 3 videos. I got some happy mail from Nydia. One of them is on my mushroom clip. I had this mushroom clip and I had no idea what to do with it. And I saw Janet Nash, she had something similar. I think this is a recipe card holder is what I think it was, but it's just sat in on my buffet like that for years. And I saw Janet Nash with something similar that she sticks her ATCs in on her desk for inspiration. And I thought, oh my gosh, I should use that little clip for that. That would give it a use. So I got some happy mail from Nydia, and it's just, I just love this mushroom. I mean, this is a work of art to me. I absolutely love this mushroom. So I put this on there for inspiration. So it's sitting back there. She gave me these little gibbles and bits. This is an RAK, Random Act of Kindness. I had never heard of that before. It's got a cute little heart in it. You guys, my fingers are so inky and yucky, so forgive me, okay? I play. So I got a little RAK, Random Act of Kindness. I got some little gibbles and bits to use in my things. I think I will probably use some of these today because I'm working in my vintage caravan journal, and today's theme is woodland. She made me this cute little fairy, which she wasn't happy with, so I'm not going to show it very long. It's a paper clip, but she didn't like the way her face got a little dark. But I decided that's the fairy. The fairy has a dark face. So thank you, Nydia. I appreciate those. I also got happy mail from Julia. I got some trading cards and a cute little collector coin that she made. And my granddaughter spent the day with me last week and carried those things all over the place. Thought they were so adorable. And now today when I want to show them, they're nowhere to be found. So Julia, thank you, and know that your cards are loved. I just don't know where they are. So next time Rosie comes over, I'm going to have to ask her. Nydia also made me this little sketch, which is going to lead me into my first story. And while I tell you my story, that this sketch just was like perfect timing. I'm going to work in my vintage caravan journal from Christina Shack and Sylvia D. And tell you the story that this just goes right along with. Now, this could be one of two things in my world. This could be a baby squirrel, because they weren't much bigger than this when we found our 3 last year and nursed them and raised them, and they're out in the backyard right now a year later. Or this could be a baby mouse, and which leads me, let's say it could be, yeah, which leads me into my story. I have a grain bin. And this is going to be great because, listen, I am so mentally blocked. The last prompt was Gypsy, and I thought that was going to be my funnest prompt for this caravan, and I cannot. The only thing is Nydia gave me a couple. She had these 2 sketches on her envelope, which I thought I could use in my Gypsy theme page. And I also thought this, I don't know who sent me this, maybe Christina Shack, because she's a tropical girl. I thought these would go good in my Gypsy page, but That's all I have. I am completely blocked. It has bothered me for days. And I decided, you know what? If it's that hard, then go on to the next one. And when it comes to you, do it. No pressure. So I'm going to go on to the next one. And I can just talk while I'm doing it. That way I won't think so much, and it's easier for me when I do that. Okay, so we have this grain bin. You know, the big round metal grain bins, silo thing, whatever. I keep my gardening tools in it, and I keep my bird feed, squirrel feed, whatever you want to call it. Oh, man. Okay, so this table is touching that tripod. Well, I'll have to fix it later. You may bounce. My whole idea to make this tripod so it didn't touch the table, so it didn't bounce. And I pushed the table up too tight against it, so now it's going to bounce with the movement of my table. I don't want that. I don't like to watch a video and watch their video bounce, so I'm trying to keep mine from doing that. Okay, so I go out every day and feed from the grain bin. And Princess, my wiener dog, she goes out every day. She's my little hunter. She's looking for the latest mouse, or the squirrels love to tease her, so she's usually trying to tree a squirrel, and they're usually up there going, nanny, nanny, boo, boo, you know. And I don't know if there's another layer on here or not. Yes, there is. So, we're out there feeding, and Princess is going nuts. Like, she is in that grain bin, and there is something there, and she's going wacko. So, after I get done feeding, I decide to go in search of what she's looking for. Now, mind you, I have been missing items in which my husband thinks I'm losing it because I'm kind of particular. Yes, I am a cluttered mess, but I know where everything is. Everything has a home in my world. So I have for my gardening, I have these big long hedge trimmers for the bushes, and it had a charger, a cord, and a box for a charger. I always keep that on my shelf in the grain bin. I keep my, you know those scrunchy hoses that when you let the water out of, they scrunch up? I keep my scrunchy hose out there, so if I just need a quick job, I can grab that. My knee pads are out there, my gloves, everything's out there that I walk out and I just get ready to go to garden. Well, I'm missing stuff. And I'm like, where is my charger? I always keep it here. It's gone. Where's my screwdriver to adjust the blade tightening on my chainsaw? It's gone. All these things I'm missing. And my husband's like, you probably used them somewhere and didn't put them up. Anyway, get busy, Gigi. My kids call me Gigi. Get busy, Birdie, and create. So, Princess is out there, and she's going nutso, and I start digging into what she's possibly going nutso about. And I move this big box of, you know, stuff, and there is, this box is like heavy. I'm like, what the dickens? Why is this box so heavy? Well, it's full of rocks, mud clods, nails, a lot and a lot and a lot of nails, screws, just all kinds of stuff are in this box. And I'm like, oh, it was the Mud Pie Cafe dishes is what it was. And they're all plastic, so I knew it shouldn't weigh very much. What the heck? Well, I keep looking. I said, you know what, Birdie, this is a critter. Something has put all this stuff here. And it must be pretty big because the rocks, I'm not talking about little pebbles out of the driveway. I'm talking about rocks this big, like a little larger than an egg. So I'm thinking, this is no mouse. I don't see a mouse carrying a big rock in here. I move it out of the way. Then I see this box. It was a great big box, about the size of a milk crate, with a big hole in the end that I had used when I first set the squirrels free, and they were running in and out of it when they were younger. It has a big hole in the end, and it was sitting up on end, and I went to move it, and there again, it's heavy. I'm like, what the dickens? So I stop, I go in the house, I get the flashlight. That box is completely full, well, half full, of peanuts in the shell. Now, I feed the squirrels. I give them a handful of peanuts in the shell, handful of shelled walnuts, and sunflower seeds. Whatever this is has gone out and gotten peanuts one at a time for months and has filled this box this full with peanuts in the shell. Very organized little creature, whatever it was. So I keep going. Princess is showing me. Now she's starting to look up. She's starting to look up on this shelf that's behind all of this stuff that I'm finding. I move that out of the way, and on the floor behind that box that had all the peanuts in the shell was my knee pads and my screwdriver and a gardening trowel and my hose and my charger that's now been chewed in half, and so was my hose. This whole pile of treasures on the ground of things I had been missing that my husband thought I had just misplaced. Okay, I'm serious now. She's looking up. I'm too chicken to look up. I'm too chicken because I can't see on the top shelf what's up there, so I wait till husband comes home. He goes out there with the flashlight and is looking around on the shelf. And there's a birdhouse up there with a little bigger hole. And he shines his light in the birdhouse, and there is a mama pack rat and her babies that looked about like this. She was just hanging out in her little house with her babies. And he's like, well, let me take her out in the pasture and give them to Princess. Because Princess would chomp and go. Like, when she finds a mouse, she chomps it, crunches that head, and keeps going. That's just how my little farm girl is. She is a hunter. I said, no, you cannot. She's gone to all this work to bring all these treasures in for who knows how long to set up a home for her babies. We can't just kill her. Let's move her to the barn and let's move her to the barn and let her raise her young. He's like, are you kidding me? She will have the wires torn up on the tractor. She'll have broken into the campers. She's raising a flock to go out and damage more stuff. I'm like, I can't. For right now, just put her in the barn. So we carried the birdhouse out. He did. I didn't want to touch it. And set it in the barn, and I took her some peanuts and sunflower seeds out and made a little bowl for her so she would have food out there until she could figure out how to raise her young. I had known there was a hole going under the grain bin for quite some time. We had even set up the trail cam to try to catch it and didn't catch it overnight. It was a hole about the size of a grapefruit going dug clear under the grain bin going inside. So she was going out in the daytime. She was not going out at night, which I thought, it would be nocturnal because we weren't catching any of her movement at night in the past. Now, doesn't say she wasn't doing it now. I don't know. So she's out there, and I'm talking to Ricky Tikki Tabi on Marco Polo, and she's saying, "Oh, Amy, that thing is gonna cause trouble. They get up in vehicles and tear up wiring." And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's just exactly what my husband said. So she said, why don't you put a piece of tape over the entry of the birdhouse, take it out, down, out somewhere in the country, you could take it anywhere, and set it loose out there so it can live in the wild, and then it won't bother your home and surrounding stuff. I said, that is a great idea. I just ripped that. So guess what? We'll obviously put a picture over here on this side somewhere because I have pressed too hard on my napkin. I'm too excited about my story. So I forget about it because that's how I am, the absent-minded professor. And a few days later, I thought my granddaughter was here, and I said, hey, let's go get that pack rat and take it to a new home. I went out there. We looked inside. Of course, I did it when the grandchildren were here because I was too chicken to look inside of it with the flashlight, so I had my grandkids do it for me. Peanut said, Gigi, there's nothing in there. What? No. No babies? No. Well, she's moved on, I said. She's taken her babies and moved on. Now, remember, I put a brick in the hole so she couldn't get back in the... She couldn't get back in the grain bin. Well, I walked back over by the grain bin, and guess what? She had dug a new hole right next to where I put the brick. She's obviously moved her babies back in the grain bin. I have searched it. I've completely cleaned the grain bin. I couldn't find it. Now, whether those babies have grown enough that they've cruised off on their own, I don't know. But I filled back in the hole again, cleaned out the shed, and I have not seen any activity since. So, can you believe all of the treasures that a pack rat, I mean, she was not quite as big as a guinea pig, but she was large. How much stuff that a pack rat can drag. It was just beyond me. So anyway, that's my story. Yay, Birdie's story for the week about a pack rat. And then that very week, I get this package in the mail from Nydia, and it's got that sketch in it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how appropriate. So I will always remember that story when I look at Nydia's Happy Mail. Okay, now, this is where I start having trouble. Christina, at Christina's shack, she can just start gluing all over the top of this stuff, and I cannot. I have a hard time. So this may look crazy when I'm done, but I'm just going to go for it and start gluing. I've got to get over this thing of not wanting to glue over the top of stuff. I've just got to get over it. Got to get over it. And I'm just gluing. I am not going to make sense of this, okay? I'm just gluing things that are woodland. So I can't do like Christina and make it look like a complete scene. It's not in me. I can't. These are from Barry Lytle. He sent me these. Of course, I've gone over them experimenting with watercolor. These here. Maybe I should put these. Maybe I should. Yeah, I'm just gonna glue. I can't think about it because, you know, I'm new to glue booking, and this camper journal, I wanted to make a glue. This is my glue book camper journal. Same with my little mushroom shaped journal. I want those two things to be glue books so I can practice my glue booking, and I've got to. Glue booking, I think, is just gluing things that you think are pretty, that you don't necessarily have to make a scene, which in my brain says you have to make a scene, but you really don't. And see, I liked these colors. They looked very woodland, but I really don't know how to work them in. Just gonna do it. Just gonna do it. You know why? Because this is therapy. And how do you work therapy? You have to work through things. You have to do things that are hard for you, that you don't understand, that are outside of your comfort zone, and that's what you do in therapy. So that's what I'm going to do. I could only find one woodland creature. Can you believe that? I wanted all kinds of woodland creatures in my picture. Now I'm going to ink over that because that bothers me. So we'll doll things up later after we get them on. I want this to be like a fairy is in the wild picking up treasures is what I kind of wanted to do, because this little thing says in search of wild things. So, and I wanted to put a fairy in here, so I thought, well, I'm going to make her looking for wild things. And I really wanted a campfire, and I couldn't find one. But I will eventually run across a campfire, and I'll put it in here. We went camping. Of course, I'm sure some of you that watch my videos saw that. We went camping at El Dorado Lake. It's just about 25 minutes away from here. It's really close, so we took the bus out, and the school bus, and we went, and it was an okay time. It was kind of chilly, so we only got to jet ski one day, which there was only one day in the jet skis. So my husband, Fred Sanford, finds joy in challenges of he's a what do you call him? He's a I don't know, a grease monkey. He loves to work on cars and build stuff, and he's the one that chopped the back off the bus and made it so that it could carry his Jeep, and he wanted to be able to carry the Jeep and pull the jet skis all in one trip so we didn't have to take two vehicles. So he chopped the back windows and seats and stuff out of the bus and made ramps and drives his Jeep up on top, and then we hitch the jet skis on behind. And And he loves it. It's a challenge for him when things go wrong that he can fix with absolutely nothing while he's where he's at. I mean, he has old vehicles. We got rid of the fire truck, but he had an old fire truck that he would just hop in and drive to Augusta to get his coffee at McDonald's in, and hope something happened that he had to fix it on his way home. And he's got a little Jeep that he does that, and a little Ford pickup, and that's just what he likes to do. I mean, he loves to come home and say, yeah, it broke down on the way back, but I had some baling wire and duct tape, and boy, got her running again. You know, muffler fell off, but I had a shoestring and tied her back on and got home. That's what he loves. I'm not even going to see my trees over here, am I? So, we're on our way to the lake, and I said, are you going to top off the jet skis? Because this is the first time we've had them out this year. Are you going to top off the jet skis with gas? He said, no, I think they still got quite a bit in them from last time we went. We didn't ride very much. I'm like, I don't even remember the trip that we took last. I don't even remember it. I'm like, okay. So we get there, and the first day was, we just relaxed and just hung out and did our thing. The second day, he went out and said, let's go jet skiing. It was really cold and yucky and rainy the first part of the morning, and then the sun came out and it warmed up and it was beautiful. So he said, let's go get out on the water. Well, he went over and started getting stuff ready so we could hook the Jeep up and take him up there to the, what do you call it, boat ramp. And he goes, well, I think we're probably going to have to drive over to the marina and get some gas. I'm like, what? I don't know. I can't see down in there to see how much gas is in there. I'm like, oh, great. So me, anxiety-ridden weirdo, this immediately makes me start panicking. Because everything has to be just so for me. I'm thinking, okay, we have a half a mile to ride from the boat ramp to the darn... You guys, I'm sorry that I'm lagging in my words because I did not take any medication in May and everything's kind of reverted back. See, I gotta think for a second. I don't remember what I was saying. What was I saying? Anyway, we get on the jet skis and we head to the marina. Of course, we want to go to the marina and pay double what gas is worth because that's how we roll. So we went over to the marina. We made it. Oh, I'm the one that freaks out because, you know, I have anxiety fit because I don't know if we're going to make it. I'm an old lady. I can't hardly walk. I'm on a jet ski. What happens if we both run out of gas? How are we going to get help? What do we do? Oh, I know how we're going to get help because we've ran out of gas in the middle of the water before, and I had to take my bandana off and stand there and wave like a goon trying to get help from somebody. And they had to tow us in. Yeah, we've done it before. He hasn't learned anything. So we get to the marina, and which I have never gassed at the marina before. We usually are, you know, topping off before we leave town. We get to the marina and and first of all, I have to parallel park in between fancy schmancy boats with my old jet ski that's just been dug out of the tree row that's got leaves in the trough and everything. I have to parallel park. Now, if y'all have ever been on a jet ski before, you know that once you shut the engine off, when you pull in to your stopping point, you have to hit the kill switch before you get there and coast in. Because they don't have like a stop. They don't have a brake. And once you hit the kill switch on a jet ski, there's no steering. You just haphazardly float into where you're going to stop and you're done. This is how I have to do in between two big fancy schmancy Bayliner boats. So I get on about the third or fourth try of the boy trying to reach out and grab me, the fuel boy, while I very glamorously float in and whack onto the dock. I get stopped, and then I'm like, okay, I'm getting over my little anxiety fit from just parking. And then he says, ma'am, you're going to have to remove the lid on your gas tank. I'm like, what? By law, I cannot remove the lid from your gas tank. I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't even know where my gas tank is. I don't know where the gas lid is. My husband says, it's clear up front. You'll have to get off. So big girl Amy, who doesn't look good in a bathing suit anyway, has to waller her big body off of this jet ski that she's hoping doesn't just tip over and roll with her. And I have to get off and take the cap off of the gas thing. I finally get off. I get this done. And then I'm standing there and he says, you can get back on. I can put the lid back on. I'm just not allowed to take it off. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get back on. We get gas. We're finally out on the open water, enjoying our trip. Now, we get around the corner from the dam, and we've had a 2-year drought in our state. I mean, it's just been terrible. We really need rain. Praise God. I think it rained all night last night, but it's going to take a lot of days of raining to fix that lake. That lake is so low. I think I showed you pictures of how far down the water is. We get around the corner, and over on the other side of the lake where we usually park is I'm trying to see where the camping area is where we usually park, and I notice I can't really find it. All I see are these big trees sticking up out of the water. Some of them like 4 or 5 feet out of the water. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to drive over there because, you know, though you see some trees out of the water, what's just under the surface? So I kind of stop at the edge to kind of just survey the situation, thinking, I don't ever remember these trees being... Now, we do have trees sticking up out of the water because this lake was actually, it's a man-made lake, but it was made for a fishing lake. So when they built the dam, they left all the trees, fences, there's buildings under there, a railroad track. They left all that and they just flooded it for fishermen. We're the ones, you know, recreational people have kind of messed that up. But anyway. So I'm thinking, I don't want to drive through there because, you know, the trees, you don't know what's just under the water. Trust me, I know. Years ago, we sunk a boat. We hit a top of a tree just under the water and sunk a boat. Yes, you name it, it's happened to Birdie. I'm not kidding you. With living with Fred Sanford, it's all happened. We had a 10-month-old baby in tow and a 2-year-old, and we're out here in the water, and we hit a tree, and it sinks. So my husband, boom, pushes on the gas as hard as he can, because the more you drive, the more it sucks the water out. So we drive until it goes down so low that we can't go any farther, in which was almost touching. It was a ways from the bank, but we were touching. So I was able to get out up to my chest with a baby and a 2-year-old. We were able to get to shore, but yeah, we've sunk a boat. So I just shut my engine off because my husband's veered over and he hasn't noticed that I'm gone yet. So I just sit there looking at the trees, how low the water is, thinking we come out here and jump off and swim and get back on our jet skis and go, or we pull the tube and the kids fall off. I will never come over here again, because they could fall off and hit one of those trees under the water, or we could jump in to swim and hit a tree. Anyway, husband notices me and he comes over to where I'm at. We sit there and visit and talk about how low the water is for a little bit, and then we're ready to take back off, and I go to start my jet ski, and it doesn't start. The battery's dead. I said, remember when you told me we needed to get new batteries every year because marine batteries just don't hold a charge over the winter very well? Did you get new batteries? Well, I got one for mine. I was like, why didn't you get one for both of them? Oh, I thought yours was going to be good. Blah, blah, we could get through another year with it. Well, surprise. We're out farthest point from the boat dock, and I'm stranded. So husband has his little redneck cotton rope stuck down in the back of his jet ski that he pulls out. No, we don't have an official tow rope. That would be for sissies. So he gets this little cotton rope tied on. Believe me, I have towed him back before with a windbreaker. We've gotten out there and broken down, and I had a windbreaker on and tied one sleeve to his boat, one sleeve to mine, and got it to shore with a windbreaker. Anyway, you wonder why I am an anxiety mess. So, we tie on his little cotton rope, and we head for shore, and we got to shore, and as we're driving to shore, I'm noticing water keeps coming out of the side of his jet ski. He's bilge pumping. I'm like, what the heck is he? Why does he need to bilge pump? Well, we get back to the boat ramp, and I realize husband has a leak. Husband has a hole in his jet ski somewhere, and he's taking on water. So, yeah, we loaded it up, and that was the end of our jet skiing weekend. I said, are we going back out tomorrow? And he said, well, no. I gotta fix this hole in my jet ski, and we're gonna have to get a new battery for yours. And I'm like, oh my gosh. This is Birdie's world, you guys. This is my world. And he gets back, and he gets everything unloaded and put away and whatever he does. And he comes over and sits down at the camping area, or whatever you call it, where we're sitting, and says, well, I had fun. I'm like, are you kidding me? That was not fun to me. He loved it. That he said, well, we made it back in. I was like, yeah, we made it back in. Oh my gosh. So anyway, that was our camping trip. The next day it was, it rained every night that we were there. So the next day it was cold and yucky and very windy, white caps on the lake. The first one would have been a perfect ride because it was just smooth as glass. And so we packed up and came home. Oh. Well, we need some woodland creatures, and I don't have any, so we're gonna make them up. We're gonna make up our own woodland creatures. We got a little hedgehog here that needs a place to live. I think she's going to stand right there. This is a cute little basket, but I don't really have any place else to stick her. So I'm going to go ahead and put her down there before I fill it with woodland creatures. I'm afraid to go over that with my paintbrush because I don't know that I would smear the watercolor or the ink pen or whatever. I'm just afraid, so I'm just going to tap her down with my fingers. She's hanging off, but that's pretty to me. It brings me joy, so I'm going to let her hang off. Now I can put my berry pictures in. So yeah, that's Birdie's adventures for the past couple weeks. I have other things I want to talk about. I want to talk about what I've been learning in my Bible study, but that's going to require me to listen to it again and take notes. As I'm listening to it, like if it's in my headphones and I'm cleaning house, then I'm like, oh, you know, I want to write things down, but I don't. So then I have to go back and listen to it again and actually take notes. That's how I study. Sometimes I listen to it 3 times. The first time I go through, I just listen. Then the second time I go through and listen while I'm looking at my Bible, following along. And then sometimes the next time I go through and write down my notes. So I'll get that one ready. And share that with you if you're interested. I need this one here. I want it to go right here. Oh, we got to put our little... Got to put our words up there. Yeah, I am learning that I cannot do prompts. I mean, or whatever you call this, a collaboration. I'm not sure what this is called. It is too much pressure for me. You see how I am. I have to put up with the pressure of my husband. I can't be thinking about it with the art. But oh yeah, he loves it. Absolutely loves it. We tried to go to the dump one day. Oh, I could just tell you story after story. Just story after story. I'm not even going to tell you the dump story. I mean, I've just got too many with him that are just mishap adventures, and he loves it. And wants to know why I don't want to drive when we go on vacation. Are you kidding me? Uh-oh. My ink pen ran, but that's okay. It's still pretty. Because I never know if we're going to make it there or not with our vehicles. He said, have I ever not gotten you somewhere? I said, no, but it's sure stressful getting there. And the thing is my big fear. He wants to take the bus and head to Oklahoma. I'm like, that's not something you just tow home. Can you imagine? Like, we are paycheck to paycheck people. When we go on vacation, we have enough for vacation. I don't have enough to tow a bus home. Can you imagine what the price of that would be to tow a bus home? No, no. We'll stay right here where we're 20 minutes from home, and if we have to, we can leave it aside of the road. You can go back and get it later. I have completely covered up my pretty napkin. Well, that's good. That's part of my therapy, was to layer stuff and not worry about it. But I like seeing the napkin. I wanted to put a couple pretty little butterflies in here. We don't have credit cards. We are cash people. I am proud to say we owe nothing except for, our house and utilities. So I couldn't just say, well, we have a credit card. If we break down, we'll pay a tow to get it home, He gets it from his dad. I can't blame him, because his dad lived life on a wing and a prayer with his mechanicking. His dad was a shade tree mechanic and, didn't have any money, so they put something together with nothing. And that's the way Terry was raised to do things. And he still doesn't have any money, and he still puts stuff together with nothing. It doesn't stop him. He just, if he wants to build something, he builds it. There's a butterfly. I think we need one more over here, and I think we're going to make it a big, beautiful one. And I want there to be, it's kind of nighttime. I know you can't tell by this one napkin. I wanted it to be nighttime, kind of dusk, and I wanted there to be a campfire burning and fireflies out. You see what the woodland is in your head, and then when I start gluing it down, it takes a mind of its own. But that's okay. I'm happy with what I did. I have completed my therapy session of what I wanted to do, with my uncomfortableness, which, as you guys know, I've told you before, talking through it helps me. So I don't think, because I've been out here for 2 or 3 days, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, wanting to make a video and just wandering around because I couldn't find anything for my gypsy video. I was thinking too much because, you can't really, I don't plan anything. I don't know why me saying this prompts is hard, because I don't plan anything. Okay, this right here, this mushroom bothers me. So I'm going to need a white pen. We still haven't got all of our woodland creatures in there yet. I wonder how long this video is. You know what? I don't care today. I needed to get caught up with you guys for my sake. And I'm going to talk until my picture's done. If you're bored and you're done, guys, shut her down now. You won't offend me. I'm not on here for the numbers. I'm on here for the therapy. Look at my little basket of goodies that I've completely covered up. We have woodland creatures. Well, you know what? That little fairy's just going to have to find that basket of moss and stuff. She's just going to have to look behind that fern and find it. I wanted to say things to Miss Moss. I've watched 2 or 3 of her videos, and I did not write down what I wanted to say or have questions, so I wanted to try to get Christina on to Marco Polo so we could visit. I have not put in your phone number yet to try to invite you, so I'm not on it lately. I don't know, my mojo, not my mojo, but of course, I've been, trying to get a bus ready. Every year when you go in your caravan, you realize you forget what you had in there the year before. So you have to kind of look through everything and reorient yourself. I do anyway. About what you have and what you've taken out and what you need to replace. And okay, one more woodland creature and we'll be done. This is for Arlene. This kitty cat. She's allergic, very allergic to kitty cats. So this is the way Arlene can enjoy the kitty cat. Okay, there we go. Now, I was going to put this fairy in there, but she's too big. Look at her. Isn't she pretty? Oh, I like her. Now, I'm going to push pause for a minute. Okay, now I need to do a little bit of doodling. Maybe. Maybe not. You guys. Okay, well, I guess the pen is out of commission. It's plumb full of ink, but I can't get it to come out. So I'm going to try to not screw this up with this. I just wanted to outline that is all I wanted to do. I don't know why. It's just that one mushroom that was bothering me. These are throwaway markers that a friend of mine gave me, and I'm just trying to get every little ounce of anything good out of them. These are my fireflies. Thanks for hanging out with me, helping me in my therapy session by listening to all my crazy antics here at the Misfit Ranch. Couldn't do it without you. It doesn't really look like it's camping, but this girl is camping in the caravan, the vintage caravan, and she's out taking a stroll like Little Red Riding Hood in the woods and looking for wild things. And I think they're here. I think those wild things are here for her to find. So that is that. One more thing I want to do. I want to spritz some gold on there. Well, you know what I'll do? I will use my new watercolors and flick it on there. That's what we'll do, by golly. With our dirty water. You probably can't see it, but it is actually going on. I'm going to have more on me than I am the paper. People will know I have created today. I got to go clean that house. She'll be the only person I see if she's there. Her husband works from home, so he's usually got his back to me in the dining room on his computer. So nobody but the dogs will see me today if I have gold splatters all over me. There we go, you guys. That was fun. I'm just an hour-long gabber, so it looks like my videos are peaked out at an hour. Here we are. This is my woodland prompt for the week in my vintage caravan journal that I have done. Hashtag vintage, hashtag vintage caravan junk journal. Is that what it is? Christina at Christina's Shack. Anyway, I will figure that out and put it in the title. But join Christina and Sylvia D and see what they're doing. They're both absolutely adorable. I will link them both below. And there we have it. Thanks for joining me, you guys. I had a great time. God bless each and every one of you. Bye-bye from Birdie. Oh, hey, don't forget to keep Linda in your prayers. She got to come home yesterday. They found more cancer on her gallbladder. None of this stuff was showing up on her PET scan until she had surgery. And I'm not kidding you. It's like, it seems like when people get opened up with cancer, the oxygen just feeds it like sugar in my world. Because if you think about it, we take an antioxidant, which removes the oxygen from your body to keep it from doing damage. So obviously, it's not supposed to be in your body. And number two, like my husband said, you can put a piece of metal underwater and it won't rust until you bring it out and let the air hit it. And then it rusts and corrodes and everything else. So why wouldn't that be the same in our body? But anyway, she's got, I think, up to 4 cancers now. She came home yesterday and she is wanting to be strong enough to go to Texas and get alternative experimental therapies done on her. She does not want to do conventional. I mean, if the possibility, this is her thought and it's my thought too for me. Everybody has their own thought and everybody's entitled to that. Our thoughts are, if we could possibly leave this world, then why leave this world in pain from therapies? Why not leave this world? Because she's not hurting. But if she took chemo and radiation and all that, she would be. So why not, if you're going to leave this world, leave it feeling good rather than feeling terrible from trying to try? So she's stage 4, and keep her in your prayers that God's will be done. And it will be done no matter which way all of this turns out. It is God's will. But just keep thinking of Linda's mixed up mess. And bye-bye from Birdie.